Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fresh Prince of Tasmania. Hope everyone's had a great week. I hope everyone watched our first episode. It's been a crazy week. On set tonight, we have Alex, my man Alex. How are you, Alex?
Oh, great, thanks.
So good to see you again. And guys, tonight we got a special guest. His name is Johnny Florio. He's a producer, director, entrepreneur, a good friend of mine. He's also got his own demolition company. This guy, ladies and gentlemen, is a machine. Look, guys, we're all about this week. We're going to be talking about self-belief and also about, like, if you want to do something, don't rely on somebody else. Just go and do it. Like the Nike brand, just do it. And Johnny's a pure example of somebody who isn't going to wait around to be successful, isn't going to wait around for an opportunity. He's a gentleman that's said, no, I'm going to make my own decisions. I'm going to take responsibilities of my actions, and I'm going to implement actions upon the ideas I have and the feelings that I have inside myself. Welcome. That's pretty much it. Welcome to the set, mate.
Wow, thanks, man. I'm blushing, you know.
Yeah. Guys, I work at a little cafe, and I'm all about, you guys know, and you will get to know that I'm very philosophical. I'm going to use an analogy here, or metaphor. Every interaction is a transaction. Let me just say that one more time. Every interaction is a transaction. Now, I work at this cafe, and I really believe in that. That's ingrained in me. And it's really important that I give every customer a wow factor experience. Every customer is, to me, the most important person that I could come across. And I tell you, a prime example of that is I met this gentleman at the cafe, and straight away just introduced ourselves. I'm an aspiring actor, singer-songwriter, producer, yada yada, very creative, and I don't want to be scraping plates for a living. And met Johnny, and he was told me, hey man, I've got my own production company. I've got 2 production companies. Come over, let's have a chat one day. Come to my studio. Went to his studio, showed me all the things he was working on. He was working on a short film, about to go to Cannes Films Festival, and it just blew me away because the fact is this gentleman was only across the road from where I was working. So the concept is if I had just been bored in my job, wasn't trying to be stimulating, not myself, but my customers, and made sure they went to that extra mile, we wouldn't have had this conversation, we wouldn't have met, we wouldn't have been able to flourish a beautiful relationship that we've got. And Johnny's going to talk about everything about him. Tell us about yourself, Johnny. Tell us about your production team, company, where it all started.
Well, I've got a production company called Old School Productions,
yep.
And I've got a digital media company called OSP Digital. So I've also got a demolition company and a sports rub company, and there's quite a few things demolition company, did I say that?
Yeah, you said demolition. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. So
he looks like the demolition man, doesn't he? Ladies and gentlemen.
They've got the guns, you know.
Yeah. So tell us, how long have you had your production company?
I've had that for about 2 years now.
Yep.
2.5 years, sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I started off with another business partner before I went with JM.
Yep.
And it was, as you said, you've both got to be in line with what you want and the goals that you want in life. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, he wasn't with me. And then I found JM, and then all of a sudden, it's flourishing.
So you had a demolition business first?
Yeah, before that.
Yeah. And at what point when you were doing that, did you think, I want to be a producer, I want film, I love all that? Were you doing that prior to?
No, like I dabbled in acting.
Yeah.
A couple of times, did a couple of acting courses like about 15 years ago. Yeah. And then I was like, I really love acting. And then what happened for me is I was living in Queensland. Yep. And then whilst in Queensland, life was just a little bit boring and stuff, and I wasn't going anywhere, and I was like, this is not what I want out of my life. And then all of a sudden I thought, I'm going to buy a one-way ticket to Italy. So I got on a plane, went to Italy, lived in Italy. I had no money, and I thought, I'm just going to make this happen. And I was living in Italy. I didn't have a job. I had nothing. I was just like, well, what am I going to do next? And then I just waited for the opportunities to come. And then so I ended up going to a mate's wedding in Lithuania, and I had my last $500, and I was like, how am I going to do this? I didn't have a job. So I applied for a job in a place called the Drunken Ship, which is in Rome, in a place called Trastevere there. And anyway, I applied for the job. I went to Lithuania, had no money. And then when I got back, I started working at the Drunken Ship. And the funny thing was, about 2 weeks later, these guys were sitting there, a producer, a DOP for a film for Spike Lee.
Oh, wow.
Right. So
Wow.
Spike Lee himself, you know. Anyway, like my mate rings me up and says, John, you got to get down here quick. You know, these guys are looking for German actors. And I went, German actors? I said, look, German? You know, and I'm like, yeah. So anyway, so he said, yeah. I said, okay, I'm coming. So I end up going down. These guys come up to me. This guy comes to me with an English accent. He says, yeah, man, I can't do the English accent, but you. He's
a great actor.
You look.
Learned a lot.
You could get away with looking like you're German. Yeah. I reckon you could get in this, right? And I'm like, bullshit. You know, as you know, like a lot of people are full of it. You know, and I thought, yeah, you guys are just full of it. Anyway, sitting down, they're talking about Spike Lee. They're talking about the films they've done. Blah 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 blah. And anyway, I started to start work. So I started work, and then I got them absolutely pissed. And they were blind. And then anyway, they said, we'll be back in a month and we want you for our film. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. You know, that's not going to happen. A month later, they come back. Hey, Johnny, we're ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? And I'm like, yeah, far out. This is amazing. Anyway, the most amazing thing ever was like, there's this place called Cinecittà in Rome, and it's like the Hollywood of not Cinecittà. Oh my God, what's the name of it's the film studios in Rome. Anyway, I ended up having to go to the film studios. So I went to the film studio, and I got there, and I'm like, I'm here, and they came and got me, and he says, come on, Johnny, let's go. So I end up meeting the director's assistant, the DA, and he goes, oh, hi, Johnny, how you going? This big American guy, Mike Willis. Hey, Johnny, how you going? I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I met the casting director. And the casting director looked at me and said, who's this guy? Yeah. And Billy Budd goes, this is Johnny. He's going to be one of the German soldiers. and he looks at me like, what? German soldier? I could see it in his face, you know? Like, who is this guy? Like, what the where did this guy come from? Yeah. And he goes, so he's going to be one of the German soldiers, special extras, blah, blah, blah. He says, yep. And he's just like, anyway, I found out later, he just got back from Germany casting 30 German actors, 30 German actors to be a special extra in the front line of this film. And I just waltz into this film. That's just like, you know, the power of, you know, manifesting things that you want in your life is amazing. You know, when 100%. It's incredible. So anyway, yeah, the next thing, you know, I'm, you know, on a bus going to Tuscany. I've worked on a $50 million film.
How long was the film? How long was the project for?
The project was it was a year-long project for the whole film, I think, over the whole year. But I was there for 6 weeks.
Yes, sick.
2 weeks boot camp training in the hills of Tuscany, getting castañas in my ass, rolling down mountains. Oh, one of the funniest things was, like, we're wearing German Nazis. We had to wear the gear and we're walking around the mountains, you know, with all the Germans, and we're crawling and shit. These motorbikes come up the hill. What the fuck? You know? Yeah. Can we swear here? Anyway.
Yeah.
It's like amazing. Like they saw Germans and they're like, what the hell? Could you imagine?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, but what got me there was, you know, so after that amazing experience, I was like, this is what I want to do.
You was on a high.
This is what I want to do, you know. Dude. I ended up basically, you know, going back to, my dad wasn't well, so I was going to stay in Italy and I was going to work in as an actor in Italy. Yeah. And I ended up going back home to Dad. Dad wasn't well, got back to Australia, he was fine. So anyway, but I ended up back in Australia, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to start my own. Because as an actor, you know yourself, you go to so many auditions. Yeah. It's last minute stuff. You go there, you audition, it's potluck. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to make my own stuff. Yeah. Therefore, I can act in it. Yeah. And get other people to act in it and things like that. And then since there, you know, the rest is history. I've now, you know, got a feature film that I'm about to get going. I've got a documentary that's nearly complete.
What's a documentary? Tell us about that.
It's called Raw, the documentary. It's about 2 vegan runners who ran 356 consecutive marathons around Australia.
Wow.
Or powered by raw food only.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe you're telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What drove you to do that? Are you vegan yourself?
No, I'm not actually, but here we go. Another one of my traits is that I was brought up by naturopaths and chiropractors and things like that.
What's a naturopath?
A naturopath is someone who studies natural medicine,
Okay.
not
Almost like
pharmaceutical.
Chinese herbal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna get him all worked up.
So Chinese herbs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
he hates like Chinese. Like,
Oh, really? You're not into that?
I was telling him how I was right into like getting into my Chinese teas, and he's like, "That's rubbish."
Yeah. I'm actually quarter Chinese as well, and I've got loads of Chinese family, and I completely respect, their traditions and everything.
Yeah.
It's part of my family. But when it comes to some of the herbal remedies, I don't believe it works.
Yeah.
I believe in, some of the most modern science that is helping to develop medicine. But like as you were saying, you were brought up by a naturopath.
Yes.
So I'm going to zip it now.
No, don't. Because you know what? Just because I was brought up by a naturopath doesn't necessarily mean I believe in that. I don't necessarily believe in that.
So both your parents are naturopaths?
No. My grandmother's the naturopath.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My mother was a colon therapist, so
what?
we used colon therapists.
What's
so
that?
sticking tubes up your bum and cleaning
okay.
your guts out.
Oh yeah. It's a really good thing to do.
It's apparently
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
Like apparently you can go to people go to Bali,
Yeah.
and they get it done there. Like they go for a week and get a
enemas.
complete. Yeah.
Another word for it's enema.
Yeah.
So.
Get it. Yeah. Get themselves a complete flush out.
Yeah, and some places they put coffee in there and all kinds of herbal teas and stuff up your bum and all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
In Oxford Street, if you go there, you can get something done. They got a special thing that they put in there.
That's funny, Oxford Street.
Let's get back onto this this documentary, Raw.
Yeah, so the documentary was about, two people that ran 366 consecutive marathons.
So is the point that because they're vegan and they're on a specialised diet, they're trying to make the point that they don't need meat or something to do the run, or?
People have this, mindset that you need to have protein to be able to rebuild muscle, right? So you have to have, meat to run around Australia, And what they wanted to do was prove that you didn't need to have meat.
You can get protein from other
You get
sources.
protein from other sources. And funny enough, they did eat, the husband ate meat, but the wife actually didn't. But she also got cancer. So she was a vegetarian, got cancer, and then she cured herself by going raw. You get what I mean? So
So what is raw foods? Like I hear it all the time. What is it? Just
raw food is basically just salads, there's no cooking at all.
Yeah.
It's fruit
yeah.
and vegetables,
Yeah.
nuts,
Yeah.
legumes, chia seeds,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So it's amazing what you can do with raw
Yeah.
food. It's amazing. You can make so many
At the time
things.
of the documentary, you and
We went raw.
Yeah. How long did you do raw for?
30 days.
How'd
so
you go?
we did two 30-day challenges. It was amazing. I lost 7 kilos and JM lost 11 kilos
Wow.
doing it, and we felt
11
great.
kilos.
The only difference is,
There's not much of him to lose as it is. Is it?
but if you've seen him, he looked actually quite slim, and it was like it's a different person.
Yeah.
In 30 days, it was incredible.
wow.
But yeah, so.
Yeah. Look, diet is everything, isn't it? Like it's absolute paramount.
I think so, but at the same time, my belief systems is funny that he brought up what he brought up before, because I'm like, my whole thing is like, how did the old digger get to 99 and he eats baggers and mash, smokes, has a cigarette every single day and drinks beer,
Yeah.
and he has a happy life.
Yeah.
Yet there's this person who, goes insane by, I've got to eat this and it's got to be right. And if I don't eat this, then you should be eating that. And the kid, you should stop eating junk food. They die at 40.
I love Johnny.
What
This is why I've got him on
what
his
the
legend.
effing hell is that bullshit? And it's
Yeah.
like,
I think it's more to do with factory farming, really, isn't it? Though for a lot of people.
what do you mean in regards to the vegans?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. They don't like the culling of the animals. They don't like that they're being slaughtered. If they did it harmoniously, then it'd be okay.
Well, I mean, if you
I have to kind of agree in some
But
aspects.
it's like
when I go to the Chinese restaurants, right? Like, no, seriously, I hate going to Chinese restaurants and where they got all the live fish, the crayfish, the crabs, you know.
Yeah.
That you know, I'll still eat it, but I hate the fact that they're just all crammed in there.
Yeah, it's
insulting to
yeah,
them.
Exactly.
You know, it's absolutely insulting. Like,
Yeah.
like we are able to physically, we're stronger, we're smarter, but it doesn't give us any more right to treat that as less than what we are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and that's the vegans' whole philosophy. Well, don't quote me on that because I don't quite know exactly.
Usually it is. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
But you know, I've done so many diets in my life. I've done so many water diets. I've done like a water diet for like, I think it was a 10-day water fast. Yeah. You know, because I had a sore back, didn't fix my back.
What's that? So you just have
And that just
no water?
made me piss every day.
Oh, you have just water.
I just drank water. 10 litres of water a day, like a day, for 10 days because it would make me better. And I was like, I did all these crazy things and I'm like,
Because your back was sore.
yeah, my back was sore, dude, because my grandma, I met this Chinese guy. He's like, you need to drink water. So he can't even do a Chinese accent. It's bad on him. But, budding actor. Yeah, it's interesting we got onto this topic because I'm actually writing a book called Junk Food Dad, Organic Mum.
Yeah.
And it's about the mindsets that we're instilling in people.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you know, we're telling children junk food is bad for them. So, as soon as a kid's eating Maccas, they're thinking it's bad. So their body shuts down. Yeah. I think. Yeah. You know, the body shuts down, doesn't actually take in any of whatever goodness there is in there, but people out there will say there's no goodness in it, but it's not true.
Mate.
Because
the other day
there's still nutrition in it.
Yeah, it's still like a raw tomato, like a fresh tomato.
Yeah.
Still fresh pineapple, still fresh lettuce, still fresh onion.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the beef patty and the amount of sugar that's in your bun. Yeah. Like, how much harm is that seriously doing to you?
I think you can have a Macca's every now and then.
Yeah.
It just becomes an issue when people have it 3 times a week.
And they're not eating their fruits, not eating their vegetables.
Yeah, they're not eating all the other things.
If you're going to eat it every day, dude, of course. You know, if you're going to eat vegetables every single day, it's not good for you either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ask a vegan and a vegetarian.
Well, it's actually, you know, like you speak to vegetarians, from my experiences, this is my own experiences, people that I know who are vegetarians are actually very unhealthy because they aren't getting the nutrients. Like the son of my mother, the mother of my son, should I say, she was a vegetarian. She had to actually start eating meat again because she wasn't getting the iron or the right iron, the right proteins. She was trying to eat nuts. She was trying to do all that thing, but she actually had to go back to eating meat because
sometimes your blood
was
say something completely different.
blood type.
Yeah.
So the one thing that we've learned a lot out of this is that the blood type scenario is really good. Yeah, and that's from a lot of experiences that I've had in my time.
See, my mentor, he's a good friend of mine, and you know, and he tells me that because I'm Sri Lankan, he said to me, Prema, you need to just because you've been brought up in Australia, you actually need to eat curry at least 2 or 3 times a week because that's part of your immune system. Your immune system is based on your bloods and your genes, and you need to.
That's very.
Yeah, and I
agree.
And he's like, he told me that a long time ago, and I just laughed at him. But in the last probably 4 or 5 years, I've been really trying to look at how this thing works and what am I putting into this body, you know, and like and I truly, the more studies I've done, you know, Indians need to eat this. Yeah. You know, one of the biggest causes of problems in Western countries for people that have come from Eastern countries is acidosis, which is the build-up of acid in your stomach and causing so much bacterial problems because you're... And
do they eat a lot of meat?
Well, I mean, me being Sri Lankan, it's a Buddhist country, so it's
you don't eat
chicken.
Cow, do you?
Huh?
You don't eat cow?
No. It's chicken and vegetables. Chicken... a small minute group eat chicken. Yeah. A lot of men eat fish, and most of the women eat vegetables. Yeah. So it's like, so I know, like for me, I'm like, all right, well, I know at least twice a week I'm gonna eat like a dal or I'm gonna cook a nice curry. And,
Yeah.
I mean, just because I bloody love it too. But it's really interesting that I love curry because I grew up in a white society. My dad makes the best mashed potato. My mum makes the best rissoles.
Bangers mash.
Best fucking rissoles in town, mate.
Yeah.
Love your rissoles, mama. But like from day dot, I've always had a craving for curry.
True. And I have to say that I agree with that because it's like, as being an Italian, right? I crave salami and I crave olives.
Mate, you sure you don't want one of those salami sticks?
Nah, I don't. I actually don't. But, mate, it's got chili in it.
Yeah,
Nah.
shit, actually. It's a shit salami stick.
They leave an aftertaste, those ones.
Yeah, you can taste like...
But the good salami and the prosciutto, mate, you
Yeah.
know, it's bloody good. And your body, I think, when you actually listen, you listen to your body. It tells you what you want. Like, you can walk into a shop and just it might sound crazy, but it'll guide you.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll
You'll
guide
feel
you.
like this. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I don't think overthink it.
No.
If you're overthinking it and you're making a lot of things wrong, then that's where stress comes in your body.
Yeah.
And then if you've got too much stress, I think stress is the biggest killer.
100%. I totally agree.
It's not anything other than that. I mean, like, yes, you got cancer. Yes, you got all these things. Yes, there's proven facts that if your body stays alkaline, that you do not get cancer. Because if your body's... It's like the pool.
Yeah.
If you put the right chemicals in the pool does not go green.
Yeah.
It stays clear. If you put the right chemicals into your body...
But the right chemicals, right, are caused from your mind. Your mind creates the dopamine, serotonin
exactly
levels.
right.
Your mind gives you your adrenaline. Your mind gives you that extensive power that you require in certain times.
Yeah.
Your mind is also the creator and the destroyer of your body.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and you know, a lot about what our show is about, mine and Alex, is about teaching people about mindset.
Yeah.
You know, you control the way you think. It's about investment.
Agreed.
What am I going to invest my time into? And then am I going to implement an emotional connection with that investment?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's really about. Like, you can make yourself angry just like that by thinking of something that happened in the past, or thinking of someone you don't like. And the freedom as an actor, that you know, we get to have that freedom to get, you know, when you're on set and you have to pretend, you have to think in your mind that person is your mother dying. Like, I did this scene the other day where my mother was dead on the ground, and the director pulled me aside before we had the shot, and she's like, Prema, I really need you to be as realistic as possible in this. I don't want you faking it. It's going to look shit on set. It was a big US TV production. And I was like, yeah, I've got this in the bag. But it was almost one of the most horrible scenes I've ever done in my life, because I went into this room holding this lady who was blood all over her. Yeah. And I screamed in places I never screamed before. I had to say my lines to my wife, because my wife is the one that killed her, but she's on the other room screaming, saying like she doesn't know what to do. So I'm confused why she's done that. I don't want to yell at her. So all these things are happening in this made up world, but I had to live in that world there and then.
Of course.
And my body, everything, like, we had to pull the lady out of the bathroom, and because I had to do a close up shot, an angle shot up this way, and they gave me a shoe, and I had to pretend that lady was still my mother. I'm holding a fucking shoe. And in one of the shots, I spewed in that shoe.
Oh!
Like, my body just started pulsating. I got cramped really badly, and I spewed into the shoe. That, like, for the whole 2-3 days of shooting, I thought the DOP hated me.
Yeah.
And the camera guy just thought I was a dick, right? At the end of the scene, those guys just come up and be like, man, you were fucking amazing. But, like, my body physically did that. And there was and it wasn't real, but it did all that. So, like, that's a clear indication to myself in the psychology that I have of knowing that my body is only capable of anything and can be the destroyer based upon what my thoughts are.
Yeah.
Like,
I use an analogy of the lemon. You know, you go and before you put the lemon in your mouth, what does your mouth do? You start to get, you know how you start to get that feeling in your mouth?
Yeah, and you get that
What created that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You already know you're going to eat the lemon, so your mouth starts to go.
Yeah, 100%.
So you're creating those emotions. It's like when you sit in a room with someone who's got the flu.
Yeah.
And if you say you're going to get the flu, guess what, dude?
Yeah.
You're going to get the flu.
Yeah.
But if you just like, so what? He's got the flu.
Yeah.
My thing is they get it from water, but anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, I was a massage therapist for 17 years. I virtually never got the flu, and people would come in sick all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just the power of the mind.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying, mate. You know, it's true. It's we create it.
Yeah.
We create whatever it is that we want to create.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like, you know, the fallacy that junk food is bad for you.
Yeah.
You know, because we're putting negative thoughts and emotions in particularly children.
Yeah.
And I don't like, yes, okay, you know, eat too much of it, like you said, but I don't like how that is constantly being bombarded into children. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of children get fat, get obese, get sick, is because they're like, I'm eating all this bad food, I shouldn't be eating it. You know, it's like, and then they're just cruel on themselves.
Yeah.
And we're instilling that in them because not we, I mean a lot of parents, a lot of social media, a lot of whatever is saying that. And it's like if we're getting bombarded by cancer all the time, everyone's thinking about cancer. I'm gonna die of cancer. It's fear.
Can I just backtrack a bit to when you said
You've got me going here.
to when you said that if you have an alkaline diet, is that what you said?
Yes.
So you basically control the chemicals that you're putting into your body.
Yes.
It will give you a clean body.
Yes.
What would the steps be for that? Like, what are the good things that you need to put into your body?
So it's more fruit and vegetables.
Okay.
So it's not to say you can't eat meat, right? It's just that if you eat more fruit and vegetables, then your body will stay more alkaline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And drinking alkaline water.
You see, we eat, right? We eat, a lot of Italians, for instance, will eat fruit after their meal. It's better to eat fruit before their meal because the fruit creates the acid in the body, right? And then if you eat your meal after you eat your fruit, at least 20 minutes to half an hour, your body has got more acid in it, and then it will consume all of that food, right? But if you drink while you're eating, you're diluting the acid in your stomach. Do you get it?
Right.
So you don't want to dilute the acid in your stomach because then it's not going to break down the food properly.
Yeah.
So that's why when it goes out into your small intestines, through your duodenum, down through into your large intestine, it's not broken down, right? So therefore it ferments, you get flatulence, you get constipation, you get all kinds of things. So really, I mean, it's pretty simple. I drink while I eat, okay? I'm not advertising that, right? And I'm sure people live to 100 doing it. It's just science, like you said, says that. You know.
What's your opinion on sugar?
Oh, mate, it's cocaine, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It's too bad. I'm not saying don't have sugar, but it's everywhere. It's too much.
When I quit sugar, I was having withdrawal symptoms. I used to smoke cigarettes as well, and I had a similar sort of experience when I tried to quit sugar.
Yeah.
I used to have multiple sugars in. Why are you smiling? I used to have multiple sugars in my.
I'm not at a smile. This is sick.
Honestly, I don't have white sugar anymore. I mean, obviously, you still get sugar in fruits and stuff like that. I don't have juice
Doesn't have
anymore.
white sugar ever since you met me because we're coloured now and supporting the coloured people.
No white sugar or brown sugar. There's none of the sugar whatsoever. I don't have fruit juices because, you know, fruit juices
high
are
in
full of sugar.
sugar content too, you know, because we're not supposed to drink juice. We're supposed to eat vegetables. But again, you know, just don't do too much of it. Geez, we could go on for this forever.
Actually, a very
it's unreal.
Very interesting topic we just made before, or statement you said, was how parents are, you know, trying to prevent their kids from eating so much junk food, and obviously that's what you should do as a parent. But one of the biggest things studies are showing also is that a lot of children are a lot weaker in their arms, they're getting sicker and everything like that. It's because parents aren't allowing their children to go out in the mud and play, to build their immune systems. Like, kids are becoming a lot sicker.
Hygienic too,
over hygienic, hygiening the kids, and also like they're not going out in the playground, swinging on the monkey bars and playing and building strength up in their arms and their bodies and things like that. And the children actually are growing up weaker and having more illnesses, allergies.
It's also the vitamin D. So, you know, when you're outside, you're getting the sun, you're getting the vitamin D. If you're under lights all day, every day, You know, it's breaking down the bone structures, everything in your body, because it's like people that work in offices.
Yeah.
Really they need to get outside. So if you're out there, get outside. Don't every half an hour get up, go outside. Look, there's a lot of science, and I totally think science has a real place, but then I also think natural therapies have a real place. It all comes to where the person is in their life. A lot of people get told they've got cancer and they'll die in. If the doctor says you're going to die in 6 weeks, they'll die in 6 weeks. But then a lot of people go, "Fuck you, mate! I'm not dying in 6 weeks," and they live for fucking another 100 years.
Well, I'm hoping to get to the point in 100 years or 60 years or something where they'll be able to extend your lifetime.
Well, there's this product now that you could take, mate, and it gives you longevity.
That's what I'm hoping, and then
there actually is
hoping through stem cell research or something like that, some sort of science thing, they can extend your lifetime by like 50 years, and by the time that 50 years is up, they can extend it by another 100 years from then on.
Dude, I don't mind if they do that to me, as long as I can still get the old boy up at 150 years old. I can't get him up. Hey, if I'm at 130...
Dude, I want to have a baby when I'm 99.
Yeah, because imagine if that is the case, right? Imagine if that is the case, that you extend your life. Like, men, and do you reckon they'd still be able to have that big bird? Or like, I don't know where this conversation's going, but it's interesting.
I think they
you live to 200,
today.
fuck, you're still fucking at 150. Mate. You're fucking killing it. Fucking yeah. Now,
Man, I'm having troubles getting it up now. They're at 99.
Mate, eat some of these nuts. They're good for you.
What do they say? What's that drug that you take? Viagra. Oh yeah. No.
So, I'll tell you guys something really interesting.
Yes.
I got this book. It's called David and Goliath.
Yes.
And it's by Malcolm Gladwell, an amazing author. Everyone should at least take the time to read his book. There's a bad stigma about self-help books, and people want to kind of steer away from that. And have to ask yourself why, when you put that stigma to a self-help book, why are you stopping yourself from wanting to achieve? Why are you saying to yourself that, nah, I don't want to read stuff like that. I don't need that kind of help, or that's only for wankers or swankers, Yeah. But, and I kind of used to think like that as well. I used to kind of think about the stigmas for these books. But I started reading them, and it changed the way I look at little things in my life and the way my relationships are. Because most of what you are living on when you're living on Earth is based upon relationships. A relationship with yourself, a relationship with everybody else. And, I think reading books like this really teach you how to be a better person, not necessarily become a successful millionaire, but to be richer inside yourself, to have a more fulfilling life with your loved ones. And I think that's really important. This book here is really interesting. Michael Gladwell, I read one of his books called The Tipping Point. You should definitely read it. It's about social and demographic epidemics and everything like that. It's an amazing book. So when I saw this book, I was like, I've got to read it. And I just love the whole story of David and Goliath, this little shepherd killing a big 10-foot monster guy, And the concept of the story is of this book so far is about that to beat your opponent, what it is, it's someone's strength is also can be someone's weakness. Yeah. And it's talking about how David had all the didn't have Goliath's strengths, but was able to defeat him because of the amount of issues, because of Goliath's strengths. Probably losing everyone here, but it's about attacking your opponent in a different and not playing at the same ball game as that person. Thinking outside the square to beat them, because if you're like 5'2", which is me, and I'm going up against someone really big, I'm physically going to lose when it comes to a game of like a fight. I'm not going to win that. But how I'm going to win? Mate. No, most likely. Look, if I trained and everything. But I talk about this story. So the other day, I read this book. I was reading a bit of this book, and I was in traffic. And I was driving along, and this guy cut me off. I'm driving like this, right? And I'm in front of him, and he comes on the inside, and cuts me in like this. And I'm like, and I never really like to invest in in negative emotion and then implement it with a negative behaviour.
Right? I remember that on the phone when you talking to me.
Dude, that's when I'm talking to you. I was on the phone to you. Funny.
Are you right, dude?
Yeah. So So this guy cut me off, and so what I did is, and it cut me off, and only to be stuck in there at the traffic light in front of me. I was like, I was so angry and so disappointed in me, right? So I put my lights on.
At that point, who were you being, David or Goliath?
No, well, at that point I was being Goliath, right? So I put my high beams on just to piss him off.
Oh.
Right? Next minute, he fucking opens the door of his car.
Yeah, I heard him.
Yeah, steps out, right? And I was like, and he's like a 10-foot fucking Maori bloke.
Oh, shit.
I was like, fuck. Comes to my car and he goes, mate, what do you fucking think you're doing? I'm like, mate, you cut me off, buddy.
Power of the book, mate. It was bringing David and Goliath together.
I'll tell you what happened. I said, mate, you cut me off and I think your behaviour was absolutely disappointing and I'm really disappointed with how you're acting at the moment. And he's like, what? And I'm like, no, seriously, mate, like I'm extremely disappointed and like you really should go back to your car and think about how you behaved because I'm sure you're a really nice guy and I don't really feel like the need to give you a flogging, but I think you have been a really naughty boy. And I said this to him, I was like, I think you've been a really naughty boy and I'm really disappointed and it really disrespected me. And I said, that's why I felt the urge to put my lights on to let you know that you've been misbehaving and you need to look at yourself. And he fucking turned around and it's like he didn't know what to do. And he walked back to his car. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck. I got out of that one. But
genius.
Yeah, but I guess the thing or the concept is that if I tried to play at his game, got out of the car, I was going to lose. I'm not going to...
Totally.
I'm not going to, and what's happening is that I'm investing in his issue. I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the problem. So I had to think very quickly. So I thought, fuck it, he's a big Maori bloke, but I reckon he'd be pretty dopey. So I'm going to talk to him like he's a little child. And I did that very quickly. I talked down to him and told him how disappointed I was. I made it all about myself. Yeah. That this is all about me right now, and I'm really disappointed in your behaviour. Yeah. And I made it all about him based upon how I'm feeling. And he didn't know what to fucking do. He got back in his ute and fucking didn't screech off, just drove off. And I think, I was like,
probably started crying.
Probably rang his mum, I don't know. But fucking, Michael Gladwell, I'll fucking say thank you.
Dude, the book's sure putting it into practice for you.
Yeah, mate, thank you, whoever you are.
The universe, mate, the universe.
Yeah, just I swear to God, I shit myself when he hopped out of the car, but I was like, no, I'm not going to be part of that problem.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good. It's interesting because what's happening is, if you want to call it, the universe is drawing these situations to you so you can practice.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, Jesus. I hate to see what the next chapter is.
I remember reading the Celestine's prophecies, right? And I started reading. I got to a certain, and I couldn't read the friggin' whole thing. I got to a certain point and I would stop.
Yeah, exactly.
You did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I read the next bit. But I found that I was at that point in my life, and then I read the next bit and went, holy shit, hang on, this is the next part of my life. And then I got to the next chapter, and then I finally finished the book, and I was like, oh my God, now I'm at this part of my life. And I think that when you're studying or you're doing things like this, what you're doing is you're actually drawing these situations and circumstances towards you, and it's playing out in your life, you know? Well, that's what I feel anyway.
See, I was reading it, and then I watched the film with my auntie, and it was terrible. Yeah, and I was like, I'm not reading that anymore. Very bad film. But I do like the idea of it, and there's the one called The Secret as well.
The Secret's great, yeah.
You manifest and all that sort of stuff. But for a few weeks I was just there going, $10,000, $10,000.
Alec is so shallow like that.
Give us money? Why doesn't it give us money? I'm praying. I want money. It doesn't give it to you. And my theory to that is that if you don't know what you're going to spend the money on, then the universe won't give it to you.
100%.
If you know what you want to do with it, then the universe will give it to you. All right, yes, I know there's thieves and robbers and druggos and all that out there that get lots and lots of money, but they know what they want to do with it. their hookers, or they want to smoke weed. They want to, you know what? They know what they want to do with it, so they get it. You know what I mean? Whereas me, I know what I want to do with money now. So look out.
No, I think that's right. I was listening to You Are the Creators. You should look at them on YouTube. They're amazing. I listen to them at least 4 or 5 times a week. And there's a segment in there saying that yes, you are. And it's talking about what God says to you. And it says that I'm not religious, it's just what it says. It says that if you say, I want to be rich, God will only say one answer, and he will just say yes. He'll say yes. And if you keep saying to yourself, I want to be rich, you'll always be just where you are.
Exactly.
If you constantly say, I don't want that, God's only going to, the whole thing says, God will just say yes to you. The universe will just say yes to you. But if you, and the fact is, it's how you're saying what you're saying.
Exactly.
If you're saying that I am successful and I'm so proud of how I am, the universe is saying yes, you are.
So what you got to determine, I believe, is that if you're going to say I want to be rich, what does rich mean?
Yeah.
What does rich mean to you?
Yeah.
You know, okay, rich, being a humble guy, nice person, you know, loving, you know, generous, all that kind of stuff, or actually money rich, you know, like physical money, you know, I want money in my hand, rich, you know, or there's so many different levels of rich, or love, or you know, kinds of stuff. I'm
kind of a skeptical personality, but I have a story that does relate to this because when I first came over to Australia as a filmmaker, it's really hard to get into the country in Australia. Never mind as a filmmaker. There's not many jobs going. Yeah. My auntie lives 10 minutes away from this office. And I searched for almost a year for a job. I had to do farm work as well to extend my visa and all this sort of thing. I couldn't find a job whatsoever, and it was getting to a point where it looked like I was going back home. And I would have done anything to stay in this country. And I put all of my effort and resources into trying to find a job. And I was willing it, and it happened. In the end, it happened like 10 minutes walk away from where my auntie lives. I've got an office right here in Manly, doing exactly what I want, with great people who are exactly like me. The way that we met as well is through friends. I'm into the hip hop scene and stuff like in Sydney. I do music videos and stuff like that. The reason why I met my boss, I met him twice. I met him when I came to this office and asked if there were any jobs going. And then I met him a couple of days later at one of the hip hop gigs, and he's really good mates with one of the guys that I was mates with. And then that's how we connected. And it was just all complete coincidence. And I met one of the other bosses a couple of days before as well, through a family friend. So it's just, all of that was weird coincidence. And I think me putting myself out there, I don't like to say it was the universe that did it. I like to think it was me.
You did.
And I am.
You are the universe.
You are the universe.
I am the manifestation of the universe.
You create whatever it is that you want.
I'm the universe manifesting itself as me.
Yeah. But you're basically in the universe with other people creating their universes, and sometimes you collide.
Yeah.
But if you look at the whole thing, we are all made of the same. We're all energy.
Totally.
We are all energy put into a vessel. This vessel is of a human that we've labelled. The other vessel could be an animal, you know, bird, fish, whatever. Everything that exists on this earth, collides in this earth, is energy.
Yeah. And
then that energy is just revolves around. It revolves around. You know, like how you said that it's coincidence. To me, every single day now, if I meet someone, there's no coincidence. I expect to meet a director. I expect to have a gig. I expect to, because I'm always making my opportunities because I'm thinking of it.
You're looking for it.
You're allowing yourself to see it. You're allowing yourself to see it.
Exactly. It's
not
there.
Looking for it. You're allowing it to see.
There is a saying that you're looking for it, right? It's like, you know, if you want to buy a new car, right? For instance, say Honda Civic, right? Then you see Honda Civics everywhere. You're looking for it.
Yeah.
You're seeing it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not that there's more Honda Civics on the road. It's just that your focus is, I want a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, there's another Honda Civic. There's another Honda Civic.
So what you've done, you've created your awareness.
Your awareness is that I'm looking for a director. So you're listening for a director. You're looking for a director.
Yeah, I get it.
Visualizing the director. You know, like I don't know what you were visualizing when you first came here. You know what I mean? Like you might have been in a different space in your mind. You know what I mean? Therefore you weren't getting work. You know what I mean? Like you say, there's no work, but there's plenty of other things you could have done. You know what I mean? Like you might have been wanting to just do this, and then you found it hard. Whereas, you know what I mean? If you were open to doing labouring, I could have given you a job.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that.
But I'm quite singular minded with what I want to do in my life.
So therefore, that's why I think it took you a while. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? You wanted it. You didn't care if it took 2 years to get it, and then you got it.
I think my biggest thing I say to all my friends and my family, especially my family, don't judge, embrace. Like why judge when you're stopping yourself from seeing something that and growing, you know, and broadening your knowledge, you know, and also respect, because you don't have to. I don't have to like what that person does, or even follow what that person does. But if I appreciate and embrace what that person does, now we have an amicable relationship. We have respect for what we might be completely opposite each other, but we respect each other. Yeah, you know, and also that you got to break that simple concept down. Is that a lot of relationships, like boy and girl, work on opposites attract. You know, and that's what makes an amazing relationship, that two people are able to bring completely two different worlds together. And they're embracing on a spark, which is obviously what we all got inside ourselves, to be attracted to the opposite, you know, in a sexual way. But then when it gets past that sexual point, it really becomes a spiritual, it really becomes an internal dialogue that each have, and building your differences together. And I think like that's the basics of how relationships work with a husband and wife. That's the same foundation to everything, you know. And we've really got to like listen to ourselves and watch ourselves and instead of judging, you know, because like if I go into a mechanics and all the boys are talking about mechanical stuff, I think this is a bit weird. But to them, it's not weird. That's their thing.
Exactly, it's their world. Yeah. It's that world that they live in.
So who am I to judge them? Exactly. Like, I should be embracing them. I should encourage them. This is completely different to me, but I want to learn about it and understand. So I can be on the same page, but I don't have to be passionate about it. But now I know about it. You know, I'm not being ignorant about it. And because I'm not being ignorant, I'm definitely not going to be arrogant about it.
Exactly,
Yeah, you know. To all the viewers out there, #. Now, so new film getting released.
The Raw, the doco.
The doco, sorry. Yeah,
we're premiering it. I can say that here in November. It's going to be premiering in Melbourne.
Okay.
Yep.
Why Melbourne?
Well, because that's where they started their run, and that's where they lived. So we're going to do it down there. Plus, there's a very big vegan community down there.
Yep.
And so we're going to be doing it down there, and we're going to sort of.
What's the date?
We're looking at solid. We don't have the date yet.
Yep.
But it's definitely in November.
Yeah, cool guys.
Could
we will
be
be
December.
Putting that up onto our Facebook page and letting you guys know. Any Melbourne fans down there, and even vegans, or just want to support Johnny, we'll definitely be putting that link up onto the page closer to that week. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, and then I'm doing a film called, at this point it's called, the working title's Johnny's Dream, because it's the dream that I had that, you know, I wanted to reconcile the country on another level. And, you know, it's about a 5'2" Aboriginal boy who grows up through adversity and becomes a rugby league legend. And then he creates the All-Stars game and then transforms the country by, you know, leading by example. Pretty much.
Tell me about that film. Where it stemmed from. What is your why?
My why was it was interesting why. I was working on a cruise ship as a massage therapist. So I was travelling between Darwin and Broome. And on the journey, this ship is an expedition ship, and you get to go on to different islands. You get to cruise into the Kimberleys and, you know, see crocodiles. It's amazing. It's called the Orion out there for anyone that wants an amazing experience. So one of the journeys that we had was we went onto this island, and it was an Aboriginal island. Like it was a sacred island, should I say? And while we were we had to get permission to go there, and we camped on the beach, and we couldn't do certain things. You obviously had to respect the elders of the land and all that kind of stuff. So But while we were there was one cave, and as you go off onto the beach, there was a cave, and I went into the cave, and there was this vivid picture of a sailing ship, massive sailing ship. And, I don't know who it was at this stage. I think whoever travelled down Western Australia, I can't think.
Captain Dirk Hartog.
They were the Dutch. They went down through the Kimberleys apparently, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so, but for me it was like, oh, was that Captain Cook, And I was like, that was my impression of it. I didn't know at the time that was the Dutch, and I was like, wow, they must have seen them here, and they must have been offshore, and I just got these amazing feelings, I was just like, whoa. And then when I was in Broome, what got me is you walk through Broome, and unfortunately all the Indigenous people are living in the parks, and they were drunk and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, it really upset me. I actually got quite upset. I was just like, wow, I want to do something to change this. I want to make a difference to our culture, because I find that I love the New Zealand culture, and they sort of, I want the same. I want our country to entwine and to be one, and all that kind of stuff, and for them, for the Indigenous of this country to just move on. The past is the past, the future's the present's the present. You know what I mean? If we're using the past to not live our future, then you're not going to ever get past that barrier. And it's like, this film is about basically, so it's about bringing the consciousness of not just Indigenous people, but the white, Caucasian people, everyone in Australia or anyone around the world, to go, what, we need to let go of the past, live in the present, and then create our future. And that the film's going to do that. Well, that's the way I've written it is going to do that, because there's a correlation between the rugby league game and Captain Cook's landing and the sorry speech and the creation of the Indigenous All-Stars, and they were the winners. They won the game, and then at the end of the game,
So you're working on that?
We're working on that, and I've got some amazing people backing me. I've got Larry Corowa, Percy Knight, Paul Davis, Reese Wesser. I've got lots of famous rugby league players who love it, and we've just done the budget, and we're about to lodge it, do the application for Screen Australia.
That's
and
awesome.
Like that.
That makes me really happy.
So if there's any Indigenous directors out there watching this, or producers, we're looking for a really good, somebody who would be interested in directing it, and we're looking for an Aboriginal producer as well.
Have you, have you pitched it to...
And Russell Crowe, if you're out there.
Russell Crowe, Greg Inglis, Kathy Freeman.
All of them, everyone. Yeah, mate, bring it on.
Talking about those guys, have you seen the lamb, Australians love their lamb commercial?
No. There's a new one, is there?
Which role were you?
Okay, so I just started an Australians love their lamb commercial.
Oh no, they're great commercials.
And this commercial is in the top 20 most talked about videos on YouTube at the moment.
Oh wow, okay.
It's like huge talk around the world at the moment. This commercial is about diversity.
Oh, okay.
And was talking about the slogan is "Lamb doesn't discriminate," and that lamb is the only meat in all the cultures that doesn't discriminate, right? And it's a beautiful. It's a shot. The director shot it one take, like not heard of to do it. There was like over 100 plus extras. I think there was 10 of us paid actors. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the major thing because my scene was they might release my section on another part of the act, because it was just me and another girl in this room. We're both lawyers, and we just we're eating kebab board as batshit saying, looking at the anyway. Hopefully they might release that later, but huge talk at the moment. It's like that. Released it one day, they had 1 million views on online.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's absolutely unheard of. Like,
I'll definitely be watching.
Check that out. Yeah.
I watched it. I was like, "What is this an advert for?" lamb.
Yeah.
Like just like lamb in general. But then I figured out it's like an actual meats company, isn't it?
No. So we have a concept that Australians love our lamb. We've had that campaign for probably coming 20
okay,
long time.
Is it a government thing?
No, it's just a culture
No,
thing.
it's the meat industries. They put out these commercials.
Yeah. So like pork is doing their concept now. That's been happening for probably about 10 years now. You know, get a pork on your fork kind of concept. But this ad and the DOP before was like, mate, this is going to really revolutionise the way commercials are shot in Australia, and the way media is going to start acting, because the whole ad is all about who come first. And they're at this this guy, he's like on a barbecue and he's about to serve up. He narrates the ad, and he's about to serve up all these people lined up in the barbecue, and he says, "Oh, who's first?" And Greg Inglis and Kathy Freeman goes, "Yeah, no, we were." Yeah, it's so well written. It's like, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then it comes up, Australians love their lamb. We don't discriminate.
I love it.
We love, and it's all about cultural diversity. And talks about all the different. He goes, in Australia we have Kazakhstan, we have Pakistan, we have Afghanistan, and right here we got Stan. Hey Stan, and then like another. And we have in Australia we have our 5 different type of whites. We have white, we have cream white, we have yellow white, we have. Geez, you shouldn't be white. And it's just really funny. Check out my page. Yeah, I will. Boys and girls out there, jump onto my Facebook page or just type in Australians Love Their Lamb. It's a really cool ad. Yeah, it's very cleverly written. Awesome. The director that shot that VB commercial, he's an amazing guy. Yeah, really amazing guy.
Don't know him.
Yeah. All right, girls and boys. So, Alex, it's that time of night again where Alex gets out his magic book full of topics. Amazing and interesting topics that we're going to talk about. Alex, what's the first topic we're going to discuss tonight?
The first topic is the one that we always talk about, but we always get it wrong because we don't know anything about it.
And we're not talking about ayahuasca.
Talking about DMT.
Oh, here we
because we've spouted a lot of false knowledge over previous podcasts, because we're basically going off what we've heard from friends or whatever. So I've done a bit of research.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about DMT?
So what's the topic?
The topic is DMT.
Okay, and we're going to just have a discussion about it.
So, what did we say? In a previous podcast, I think it was the one with Rappaport, we were talking about if it's in ayahuasca or not, where it is actually, it says here, the drug is an active ingredient in ayahuasca, a traditional South American brewed tea.
Yep.
I got that off the internet.
Yep.
So that's a good source, but it's like from a medical website. Okay. Ayahuasca, as I understand it, is a South American tea that can brew with various things, including DMT. So, as far as I'm aware, you can have ayahuasca.
Can you bring it up live? Yeah, bring it up. Find out what's happening. So
type in ayahuasca.
Just type in DMT and all the things that DMT is found in.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's found in plants.
Yeah. So my interpretation.
Right. So you said that it's in the human body and we can access it whenever we want to.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true. It is.
You can't say necessarily and then say
there's
true.
no proof.
There's no proof saying you can't.
Well, okay. There's no proof that there's a giant fairy monster that's going to attack Sydney in the next couple of weeks. Like
there is for people that are on DMT.
That's actually can prove that, because if we say right now and then we'll be in like 3 weeks' time, boom.
This medical website.
Shut off time.
This medical website.
I'm going to shut off time.
This medical website said that it's found mostly in plants, but can be found in mammals' brains, or it is found in mammals' brains as well. So it's found in our brains, but it's not like we can access it on whim and use it.
I never said on a whim. The statement that I made, ladies and gentlemen, right, is that I feel that through the power of meditation, that we can extract any forms of.
That's on a whim. That's when you want.
It's not a whim. Whim is like just a haphazard statement. I actually back myself in this. So, I believe through the power of meditation, you can
levitate.
Yeah, you can take. You can get extract DMT. You can control your dopamine levels, your serotonin levels in your body. I actually truly believe that you can heal
But what I'm saying is, we've said this in previous podcasts, but with a bit of research, I'm saying there's no evidence to back that up.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but there's no evidence to say that I'm wrong.
Okay.
So this statement is 50%, correct?
No, I don't work. Do you know anything about that? I don't work it out like that. 50%.
Dude, 50-50.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What's the DMT?
It's dimethyltryptamine.
So they reckon when you have a DMT trip, it goes for about 8 minutes.
And you're saying you create that from meditation?
Well, no. Your body releases your DMT when you pass away. Just before you pass away, it releases the DMT.
It's another thing. I searched that, and there is no evidence for that either.
Well, if you go onto YouTube, there are doctors that talk about that.
Yeah, but
what's the purpose of all of this, though? What does the DMT do for you?
It's
so
like,
it teaches you to meet.
people take it. It's a naturally occurring substance that creates hallucinogenic effects, and it's used in. It's been used in religion.
It's also found in a few mammals such as rats and rabbits, and it's also found in humans, but not that much.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been used in religion for years, thousands of years.
Funny.
And it became illegal in the 1970s.
When they couldn't tax it.
During the whole hippie movement with LSD and all that sort of thing as well. So people see it as a drug that as a naturally occurring drug that puts them closer to God and expands their minds.
You release it when you're dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's meant to be a mind-expanding experience, and it makes you think of the whole of everything in a completely different perspective.
See, my research is that there are.
But what is your research?
Prema Smith's research, ladies and gentlemen, and that is why we got this podcast. And please tune in any time. And a statement I made before: this podcast is for you to tune out, so you can tune in at the Fresh Prince of Tasmania. All right, I feel like this topic is probably not going to go anywhere. What's the next topic?
What was that topic that you were talking about before, Christian?
Have you only written one topic?
I've got another one, but I don't really want to go on to it because he had a more interesting one. So let's go on to that.
Okay.
So we're all good on VR and what that is.
Yeah.
What's VR?
The headset.
Virtual
and
reality,
You see
yeah.
things and you're in the game.
Yep.
You walk around.
Oh,
do
okay.
Things.
Yep.
And then there's also the ones where you have the actual handset and you can like interact with the game itself using your actual hands. Yeah.
Yep.
And so there's this game coming out for VR, which is called like some sort of Dead or Alive game. And what it is in its most basic terms is that there's a feature in the game that allows you to sexually assault a woman.
Ooh.
So the player's there and can actually physically touch and poke at the woman, and the lady's actually like saying no and trying to get you to stop, but you can't actually do anything because it's programmed to just sit there and basically take it. And basically there's a whole...
So is it part of the game's storyline?
So
no, it's just a special feature.
okay, and so
Special feature.
Is this an actual game that's been like Crash? It's like Crash Bandicoot, and we know it's Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, it's like an actual game that's coming out.
Okay, and what's the game called?
It's called like Dead or Alive VR.
Okay, and the creators of that have given this. Okay, I think that's completely morally
So
wrong.
imagine there's a whole
Totally.
moral panic about what this is going to do to the technology of VR, and also what this says about people playing the game, and also what this says about like if some kid plays the game, how's he going to grow up and think about the world around him?
So the thing is, when there was a whole Grand Theft Auto thing, when people were campaigning against that coming out, I don't think that was warranted. I mean, they had their reasons, but I don't think that sort of thing should be stopped, because I do think there's a bit of a difference between someone who's going to play a game and steal cars and someone who do it in real life. I think there's people that will do it and there's people that won't do it. It all depends really on your upbringing and what you're forced to do in your life.
And I don't think that game...
Let me finish, because it's making me sound like I'm on that side. I'm not on that side. When it comes to VR and you're actually physically doing it, that's where I think it's a little bit different. I don't think this VR game, personally, I think it sounds a bit too over the top. It's actually assaulting a girl, but you actually have to physically do it because you're in the virtual reality doing it. That is taking it a step too far.
Yeah, I think it's disgusting.
How can that be allowed?
And I'm a massive... I love like Tarantino films, you know, where they're doing gory scenes where they're killing people. I love GTA. I love like and heavy rap music and stuff like that. But I just can't be on side with this. I can't be on side with a VR game that sexually assaults a woman. And why is it not like... It's way different.
No, it's way different. Okay. Ready? This is my opinion. All right. I think Grand Theft Auto, you made a very valid point, that it's a game and you get to live that idea that you're going to steal a car, you're going to get away from the cops, you're going to shoot some people, you're going to run some people over, and it's like this game. And it doesn't hold as much as a moral strain to the fact of like being sexual, like...
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because like killing someone's not really right either.
Okay, it's like this. Okay, here we are. This is, if you were going to steal a car, you wouldn't steal the car based on the fact that you've been playing games, right? Most of out of 100 people, out of 10 people, and 9 of those people wouldn't steal the car because they've been playing a computer game and then decide to steal a car. Those guys that would steal a car because the surrounding the network of friends and
they'd be more likely not to go and steal a car because they can do it in the game. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is that the people that do steal cars, I don't believe that stem from them playing a game. No. That stems from their surrounding. You know,
exactly.
That stems from the drugs, the violence, the way they're brought up. The game doesn't affect that. But you see, what happens is how many sexual assaults occur when men or women are intoxicated or are having taken drugs. So that is common every day. Like, as soon as you get drunk, how many times, and it's, I'm not attacking men out there, I'm a man, you know. I'm a man!
He's a man! He's Goliath!
I am Goliath! But it is more prone to that women get sexually assaulted when a male is under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Now, that is accessible every day. So if we're teaching our kids to be in that mindset, when then all of a sudden they're intoxicated or under the influence of drugs, which can occur at any time in the week for most people, I just think that moral behaviour, because you act immoral in a sexual manner when you're drunk. You don't act like a dickhead and steal a car, most of us, when we're drunk. Most males or females act in a disorderly manner based upon a sexual behaviour when we're under the influence of those two elements, drug and alcohol. And that's I mean, how many women get really drunk and want to act slutty and, you know, sleep with a guy and all this type of sexual thing is so more day to day. It's so more, it's our neighbour, you know, it's our, as soon as we're under the influence, we don't care about the way we look. We do act in a certain way. We, you know, our hormones become so enraged and enlightened. So I just think having a game for children, for anybody, where you're not under the influence of drug and alcohol and you're acting in that behaviour, and then that world is not, it's too close.
So what about, like, you know, you're saying that you can prod the girl and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm assuming that it'll get to the point where you can stab people too.
Not in the same game.
Not in the same game, but if it's going down this way, you know, think about it. It's gonna eventually, you're gonna be able to physically walk around your house and stab someone as well. Yeah. So is that, how far is this going to go? This is crazy.
I don't think it's a bad rap on VR. I think if anything, it's a bad rap on people. And
100%. Like, here's a quick prime example of what you just said then. It's not based on VR. It's based on the people. See, the amount of people say to me, I don't have a Facebook page. And more of the older clientele. I don't have a Facebook page. I don't want people knowing my personal details. Yeah. And I wouldn't use Facebook. I don't want to know what someone had for breakfast. I don't want to see what someone's walking their dog. I don't want, and that's what they say. I don't want this. I don't want that. So Facebook. I don't want Facebook. Facebook is for losers, right? These are conversations, and I say to people, no, Facebook is just an instrument, and it's how you use that instrument the suit for your life. And I've changed a lot of people's views because I've said, I love Facebook. Facebook's fantastic because I have friends all around the world and that I meet, and a feed come up and I see them just got married, or they're having a birthday, or they're on this holiday, or they've eaten at this restaurant. I'm like, I've always wanted to go there. And that's, to me, I'm utilising Facebook in the most proactive and positive manner. So it doesn't. Let's not judge what a piece of what could be the word? Let's not judge a program, or let's not judge an element thing. Judge your behaviour and why you think that certain way, and what's stopping you. We talk about this world of personal information. Ladies and gentlemen, you can be found.
Yeah.
Please don't think that you live in society. If you want to know your phone number, where you live, date of birth, it can easily be found. We live in this world now that, I'm a firm believer. Can you pass me my telephone, please? Without sounding a bit crazy, like I'm that guy that wears an armadillo on top of my head to stop the government from tapping into my brain. I would if I had an armadillo. That would be super cool. But I'm a firm believer that the iPhone, any government have the power to just, they can see there's a camera on this side, there's a camera on that side, there's a microphone. Yeah. They can tap straight into your phone. So ladies and gentlemen, please don't think that you sit in a safe house and you're not monitored, or you can't be tracked or anything like that, because is it just coincidental that we only have 2 phones now that everybody has, an iPhone or a Samsung? Back in, might be sounding a bit old, back in 2002, 2003, there was probably 16 different type of phones that you could possibly have. Now we've only got 2 major phone companies that everybody's using. Now, I just didn't think to myself, sometimes when I'm in the bathroom, I put my phone lens down.
You think all those girls are looking at you, mate?
Because I don't want anybody to see.
That little Sri Lankan guy.
Don't want them to see my willy. But,
back onto the topic.
Back onto the topic. What Christian was talking about, it's not the program, it's the user. But, however...
Yeah, but creating it, what?
Yeah, however... do we put the drug in front of someone that's trying to stop?
It's probably going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's probably going to get worse than this as well. I remember when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out. You guys ever played Call of Duty?
Mate, I'm not into the games, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Well, Call of Duty is a really famous games franchise, and it's just basically a war game. And there was this scene where you're in an airport, but you play the terrorists, and you come out of an elevator, and it asks you if you want to play the mission before you play it, and I'm like, hell yeah, whatever. I don't want to miss a mission. I don't want to miss out on gameplay. Go into it. You're the terrorist, and you're all talking in this elevator. You come down, it opens, and then there's all the civilians in the airport, and they're all just spraying people, and you've got to be one of the people that kills all the people as well. I remember when that happened, I was just like, whoa, this is too far for even me. And I'm desensitized, and I know the difference between a video game and reality. But even I was a bit like, this is ridiculous. I can't be a part of this.
In the film that I was in with Spike Lee, there was 2 guys that got chosen to do this mass murder scene where they killed 500 people in a town in Italy, right? And the 2 guys that got chosen, Matthias and I can't remember the other guy's name. Anyway, after doing it, they had a submachine gun, what was it, MK? I can't remember what it was, but it was the big machine gun. And they had to spray every single person in the town, and they had this massive shot, and then they all fell over, and everyone had to die and scream and all that. They literally came back mortified.
Yeah, I believe that.
Actors or what? They came back, and you could see they were different people. They were like, whoa.
It's strange being an actor. I think that would you have to change your reality and be in that moment. You have to actually live that.
Kids, my kids love these games. They want to shoot and they want to blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I think if you give it too much significance, then kids will give it that significance. Whereas if you don't give it so much significance, then they don't give it as much significance. Am I making sense? It's like where I'm going with this is I've got a 26-year-old son, right?
Yep.
And he loves these games, Grand Theft Auto, killing. But as a child, I did not let him play with guns. I never let him watch Bart Simpson. I didn't let him watch Mutant Ninja Turtles because back in those days, I thought the kids that used to watch Mutant Ninja Turtles, Bart Simpsons were little shits. Like literally, they were little shits. They went around and they terrorized people. And I was like, my son's not doing that. Yeah. As soon as he got old enough to do what he wanted, what did he do? Straight on to, getting games, secretly, shooting people. And I was like, all right, yes, as a parent, I tried to avoid that. But at the end of the day, it happened anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, but in regards to that, abusing a woman, I mean, that's fucking wrong, man. That's fucked up shit. Okay, killing, whatever, but I don't know, for some reason, that to me really pisses me off. I'm like, if my kids were to do something like that, I would be like, what the fuck?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, exactly. That's what
it's not that they might stumble across it and go, oh, what's this? Oh, wow, this is great. I'm stabbing a chick. Or I'm sexually... Oh, man, that's fucked up. That shouldn't even be made. That's sick.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can differentiate killing someone and stabbing them in the head and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's bad too, but... Ooh.
The parallelity is too close, to do that.
That makes me sick.
So far tonight, we've talked about your documentary coming out.
Yep.
We've got your film that you're working on.
Yep.
Kathy Freeman and Greg Inglis... please donate exponential amount of money to market this film.
No, I'd like to speak to Greg Inglis, please.
Guys, don't hesitate to email us at thefreshprinceoftasmania@gmail.com.au. Tell us, Demolition. Okay, let me just say one quick thing. I want to bring it back to Johnny. Johnny still has a day job in a sense that he's got a business that runs to support his creativity side. And guys, he's a guy that works around the clock. He's got 2 very successful production companies. However, he still has another business because that he knows is what he has to do to go to the next level. And I think it's extremely commendable.
Can I talk about that?
Yeah, of course you can. Talk about anything.
What I found is obviously a lot of actors out there and people that are in the creative space, they live on, I feel that they live that in the world of poverty, right? They don't have enough money to do what it is that they want to do. And I've come from that perspective. Well, I've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You ever heard of that book?
Robert Kiyosaki,
very good book. If there are any 16-year-olds upwards out there, read this book. It'll transform your life. And it transformed mine. And it was like, educate yourself. Don't educate yourself first. Educate yourself later. Make money first, then use the money to educate yourself.
How do you mean?
Right? It's like, okay, so get a business, make money, and then use the money that you make to then educate yourself. Because a lot of students, right, don't have any money. Okay, so what Robert Kiyosaki says is educate yourself. Invest in businesses that make money and then use the money then to educate yourself.
Yep.
Right? It's the other way around.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's like if when I was little, right, we used to put $1, I think it was back then, might have been less actually, might have been 50 cents in the Commonwealth Bank bag. And then that would go to the bank. And then every week we had 50 cents. And then the next week we'd had $1, and the next week we'd have $2, and then by the time I was 18, I would have $1,800, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But the banks loved that. You know why they loved that? Because they had your money for 18 fucking years. Sorry to say that. 18 years they had your money until you got that money out of the bank. What is that money making that bank?
Billions.
Millions. They're reusing that money and they're reinvesting that money. You're buying a house with that money. You're paying, at the moment it's good, the interest rates, but back then the interest rates were like 11, 12. So you know what I mean? They're using kids' money to basically get rich, right? Whereas what Robert Kiyosaki says is, if we would have, or my parents would have bought a block of land back in those days, which was like $5,000 back in those days, which was cheap. By the time I'm 18, that block of land's worth $100,000.
Yeah.
Would you suggest buying a block of land now?
100%.
I 100% agree.
100%.
100%.
If you can afford, rather than putting money in the bank as a savings account, in your savings account, buy a block of land just out of the Central Coast or on the fringes that you can afford. You know, there's places down like near Tallong, 2 hours out of Sydney, that you can buy a block of land for about $40,000, $50,000, right? Where the city, I'm talking about kids, right? The kids are going to get older. By the time the kids are 18, Sydney's going to grow and it's going to go out. Yeah. Cities are going to get bigger. You know what I mean? And it's just common sense.
I agree in that
he's saying, that's what he says. And like being around the, you know, going to auditions and all these people struggling, never got any money, always complaining, I got no money, blah, 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 all these struggling artists. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I want to create my own business, make money, because now that business makes enough money to support itself. You get what I mean? So now I'm at a point, in 2 years, that business is now making its own money to now, only 2 years. Now we're using that money to reinvest to then now make our own films. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like, okay, JM was a creative director. He wasn't a producer at the time, but a writer. And I just went, you know what? Wow, you've got everything that I need that I don't have, because I didn't have that. Yeah. I needed someone like him to help me build the business to get it to where I wanted to get it. And even though I didn't have those skills, I thought, all right, well, I'll invest in him. So my business, the demolition business, supported the film business, paying his wages for the first 4 months, I think it was. And after 4 months, he started actually making enough money to pay his own wage. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So then that business then started making its own money. All right, it's taking time, but now we've gotten to a point where he's been pretty much paid his own wage for that whole time. We haven't made any money per se. Yes, it's successful because we've done a lot of projects, and we're at that point now where our projects are about to come to fruition. You get what I mean? So it's investing in... So I made the money, I used the money to do what I was passionate about, and then now I've also educated myself as well, because I've learnt from him. I didn't have those skills. I didn't know how the lighting worked or how camera worked, or I know a lot of that stuff now because I learnt from him. I could go to freaking university for the next 4 or 5 years and learn how to work a camera, or I could do it like that by getting someone as good as JM and work and learn off him. Yeah. That we get told to go to university. We get told to go to school because it's like hoarding cows and sheep. If we didn't do it, there'd be too many people out there with free minds, right? But we get hoarded into these to control people. Otherwise,
I agree with you.
Your business before OSP was demolition, right?
Demolition business, yeah.
So you're saying you use that money to then invest into digital and film
to create a film company.
Before the demolition company, how did you start that one up? That's your first one.
I was a massage therapist.
So sorry, what was your first one? Did you have any more before the demolition?
Yeah, I had a massage. Had a massage practice.
So that was your first business.
So for 17 years, I was a massage practitioner. Yeah.
Okay.
For 17 years.
Tell us about setting that up and getting.
Okay, well that came from. Well, okay, the start for me was I've always been entrepreneurial, right? Always. I've always had my own businesses, bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere. But I was working on the council for all places, the local council. Huh? And for me, standing on the side of the road, having people scream out, "Hey, you fucking bludgers!" You know, like, "Get off your fucking shovel!" I was like, "Fuck!" man, I hated it with a passion. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because literally we didn't do anything. We fucking stood there, you know? It's like we did 3 jobs. Once our jobs were done, we didn't do nothing. We sat in the fucking park and we just slept sometimes, or sometimes I'd go home. Literally. And that's not my fault. That's the way the structure of the business was.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, everyone out there, but that's the way it is. Yeah. Right? And but for me, my mind, I was like, I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I'm not a fucking bludger. I'm working. Every other fucking bloke standing around, not me, because I was the one making sure the line was straight. Because they didn't care whether the line was straight. Anyway, that's just another story. You know what I mean? Like, I always did, when I did something, I always liked to do it.
100%.
And that's just who I was. You know, I don't, either I got that from my dad, my mum, or I don't know. I think that was just who I was as a person, decisions I made. So I went from being a council worker to my grandmother needed, she was getting older, and she's had a very successful naturopathic clinic in Darlinghurst. So I said, all right. She asked me would I go and work for her. So I said, okay. So and then I did a massage course, and I went and worked for her, created a massage room, and then I started working for her. And then she was like, yes, I promise you a new car. I'll get you a new car. And then if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. And you do that. I was like, okay, no worries, you know, because like she was the kind of person that would have shit everywhere. And I was like, I went in there and cleaned it up, painted it, made it look nice. And after I did all this work, she was like, she promised me a car. And I was like, okay, cool. So I organised the car. And then when it got to the time for the car, she said, no, sorry, I can't. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to declare that to the tax department. You know, she was like, I don't want to. So I then went, fuck you, sorry to say that about my grandma, but, you know, I was like, I didn't want to be around that. Yeah. And that was who I was, right? And I ended up starting my own practice. I called it Balmain Healing Centre, and I created a Balmain Healing Centre in Balmain. So I went from Balmain Healing Centre, and then I thought, well, how am I going to fast track my life, right?
How did you get to that point? Did you save up over
No,
time,
mate,
or?
I just did it, you know what I mean? I've always been someone that's worked, because I had a kid at 18. Right?
Do you take a loan out though?
No, never took a loan out. No, I just worked.
Worked and saved up.
I always thought how I read that book early, and I always thought, how am I gonna do something faster? Yep. Right? And it was like, what can I do to fast track my life so I don't have to, you know? So I thought when I became a massage therapist, well, how am I gonna get clients quick? Oh, I'll go and work for the West Tigers. So I went and basically auditioned for the West Tigers, and I got a job. So then I worked for them. So then I got all the rugby league players coming to see me. You know, so I built my career up. I got a good name.
Would they pay more? Because
no, actually, they paid less. They were tight asses. Other clients would pay me $70 to $80, and they would only want to pay me $50. And they were on $450 at the time, $1,000 a year.
But you get more of them.
But I'd have more of them coming, and then I did them at training, massaged them at training and stuff like that. And then, but I'd always had something different there. Well, Jesus, it even gets better. Sorry, guys out there, probably boring you, but I also got involved in OzTag, and OzTag is like a touch football game.
Okay.
And that was created around that time, and then I built with my business partner at the time. So basically, I was massaging all day. I was working for the West Tigers, well, Balmain Tigers in those days, and then I was doing OzTag. So we created, I had 1,000 people that we were basically organising a week to play these sports, you know. And so I developed. I helped in the early stages to create OzTag in the Sydney area, and so then blah 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 blah. So that's the journey. And then what was the question again?
Like, how did you get yourself?
How did I get to?
So from
I love this. Yeah.
OzTag. So did OzTag help in any way to get to the next stage?
OzTag, kind of no, because like it was amazing that you know, I created all these sports and stuff like that. Oh man, this is really cool. Can I keep going? Okay, so what happened is I was doing OzTag during massage during the day, OzTag at night, and I was just getting bored. You know, I was just like, what am I doing? This is not what I want out of my life. I want to do something big. You know, I want to do something that's going to really make a difference. And one-on-one massages wasn't working, and and then I started doing the acting classes. Yeah.
Something I want to say, knowing what you want to do, just do it. and you don't know how you're going to do it, don't let that stop you. Don't think about how I'm going to do it. Let me think about how set up a plan and everything like that. Honestly, when you want to achieve something, just you will learn how you're going to do it while you're doing it. You also learn how you're not supposed to do something, and learning how not to do something is so much more important than just being able to do something naturally.
Yeah.
Because don't you think
you do need coaches, mate?
Yeah.
And
but you get those coaches when you're going
you can say the books you coach, right? You can say the books you coach, but if you're reading the book, you've got no coach talking to you. They can't. The book doesn't see your blind spots, right? A coach sees your blind spots. It's like
But you get those coaches by doing the actions. You bringing people into
exactly. You bring the coaches towards you, and then you coach me. I coach you. You coach me. Or we coach each other
because you're growing to a stage. So you need people. And you learn that. You learn that while you're doing it, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is that it is good to read the books and everything like that, and get an open mind. To, teach you little things. But if you want to do it. Just have a go, and you'll learn, and you'll meet people who can help you. Like you met.
If you want to fast track your life, get a coach. Honestly, you need someone to see your blind spots. It's like when you're playing basketball, the coach will say to you, you need to bend your elbow a little bit more. Not that the book's not doing that for you. It's giving you little steps, but the coach will take you to a whole nother level. But you will attract that coach. You will attract. Often your best coaches are the people that you don't like, or people that really piss you off. They're your best coaches. Interesting enough, because you learn the most from those people. I think. But anyway, So
I'm a firm believer. I've got a couple of mentors. And when I brought my business, my best mentor is like a father figure to me. He's got heaps of different businesses, and I think it's really important, whatever you do, if you want to be proactive, and just everybody should have a mentor. Everyone should have somebody.
Mentor. Coach, mentor.
Yeah. Everyone should have someone.
Swami.
And sometimes it's not within your family. It's your boss, or it's someone down the road. They're doing something, but make the action to learn something from them, and give yourself that permission to learn as well. One of the biggest things that stops a lot of people from wanting to achieve or having the desire to pursue something is they don't give themselves the permission to learn. And that can be very overwhelming when you try to do an action and it not being the result that you want. You automatically just so hard on yourself, and that's kind of like self-depriving yourself to take yourself to the next level, and self-sabotaging yourself. And,
self-sabotage, that's huge, and that's what happens a lot.
And we do that a lot,
But then it's very difficult to realise you're self-sabotaging until you realise you're self-sabotaging. So again, often a coach, or doing courses like the Landmark Forum or Robert Kawasaki, or reading this book or something like that will help you to see those things.
100%. And I mean, everything, knowledge is like see, we're talking about food before, and I'll use this analogy back to what we're talking about. Everything you can, if you eat McDonald's or every day, it's not good for you. If you just eat fruit all the time, it's not good for you. If you just have something of one thing all the time, it's not good for you. So you've got to have a multiple different things to aid you to having the best life you can. And that's no different to being successful in your field or growing. Is that, yes, if I just read books all the time and not implementing any action, I'd have a whole bunch of knowledge but not getting executed. If I just did action,
that's a big key.
If I just did action all the time and I didn't try to educate myself by stimulating my brain and getting different perspectives on other people, then pretty much what I'm trying to say is that you got to be utilizing as many resources as possible for you to grow. And that's what it's all about. And just remember, don't worry about it. One of the biggest things that we do is, especially in the film industry and entertainment industry, actors, dancers, directors, producers, it can be a very cutthroat industry. People always talk about being a cutthroat industry, and my attitude is not a cutthroat industry.
Yeah, good.
It's not a cutthroat industry.
Yeah.
Real artists, right, are the most genuine and passionate people possible. You know, it's these other. It's only your 1%ers that tarnish the whole industry and think there's somebodies that aren't doing anything. Real artists, it teaches you to really know who you are. The competition isn't the guy beside you. That person beside you is your best ally, is your asset. He's the person who's going to help you grow. Your biggest competition, ladies and gentlemen, is yourself. When you wake up today, you're going to be like, who am I today? What did I learn yesterday? What can I do today? Where do I want to go? Where am I? You want to be hungry to be better than yourself. I want to be faster, stronger, and smarter. That's all those are the three components.
You are faster.
Yeah. Well,
Stronger,
100%.
smarter.
And you know what, this gentleman here, Johnny, he pulls me up a lot of times because I say statements that can indirectly be counterproductive to myself. And Johnny is a good friend that teaches me to change.
I'm not scared to tell you.
Yeah,
Because you're willing to listen.
Yes. Changing the way and context of how to say statements. You know, the statement I was saying that I want to be, but the statement is actually I am. If I constantly say I am, you know, in the Bible, and I said this quite a couple of times to some talks I've done. In the Bible, it says, God says, I am who that I say that I am.
Exactly.
And I like to tell people to say that to themselves. I am who that I say that I am. I am who that I say that I am. And that is so important. If you say that you're a loser, you are a loser. If you say you're broke, you are broke. If you say you are poor, if you say that you're fat, if you say you're dumb, then you'll say that's what you are. So say what you are in a positive way. And the whole concept we were talking about before, the faking it till you're making it, right? I made that conversation before about sometimes you got to, doesn't necessarily have to be the truth that I am the best entrepreneur today. But saying that into your subconsciousness then becomes habitual, and then all of a sudden you will just be growing because you're training yourself to be like, yeah, I am. And you're giving yourself that step forward. You're giving yourself that power. You're giving yourself that I don't need to rely on anybody. I'm going to accept everybody's help, and I'm going to embrace everybody, you know. And everything right now.
If you're over positive, you'll burn out.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's okay. It's great to always be positive.
You need to be a critical thinker as well.
You've got to be able to be negative too. You've got to be able to turn off.
Yeah.
If you don't turn off the positive, you burn the wick. Gone. You'll overdo it. You'll get sick because you're just going too far.
But you've got to embrace the negativity. I'm like,
exactly.
Negativity is the most beautiful thing.
100%.
You've got to understand what sadness is. You've got to understand the pleasure of being upset. You've got to understand that. But it's also about accepting it. This is how I am today. Like a lady said to me yesterday, she's like, God, you're always so happy. Do you ever get sad? I said, yeah, bloody oath, I'm an actor. Right? But I'm a human being too. That I embrace my sadness, I said to her, because that is it's my time, you know, and it gives me, when I'm really sad, I don't think that is a negative thing. I embrace it, and I'll write a beautiful love song. Yeah. I write a beautiful script, and then also encourages me to then start seeing things more beautifully. But if I just think negative, no, I don't want that in my life, I'm blindsiding myself the most beautiful parts of life at the same time, the most intimate parts of myself. You know, that we all have these beautiful intimate parts to ourselves, and we constantly been trying to be this. There's a big difference between being positive and being proactive. You can be proactive with your negativity. That's all I've got to say about that. Now, question I've got to ask you.
Yes.
You were telling me downstairs that you got a new spray. Tell me about this. Johnny is such an entrepreneurial man. His business. I love it. I love how these guys work. He doesn't stop. He's got a new spray on. What is it? Tell us about it.
It's called Play On. It's, again, my grandmother was a naturopath, so she had all these amazing, products that unfortunately never really made it to the market. and she was a pioneer of the time. Really, all these products were absolutely fabulous products. You know, way before Deep Heat, way before what's it called, Pain Away, and all these other products that are out there. It's way before them, and it's just never been on the market. And now Nen's 95, and she's basically never done it. I was like, hey Nen, could I please have the recipes?
Because you didn't buy me that fucking car.
I'm gonna get that fucking car. I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna steal all your recipes, Nana.
I'm gonna fucking make it.
Hey, Nana, are you sleepy?
Can I have that black book? Anyway, so I coerced her into giving me the recipes, if you want to call it coerced. And she's finally giving me
It's funny what a 4x2 does, isn't it?
No, a pillow over the... No, anyway. So anyway, I finally got the recipes, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get him to sign them over to me. So she actually signed it over to me, and I was like, fucking sweet, here I go.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, so I'm going to make... So a friend of mine actually came up with... I was like, what could we call it, Because it used to be called...
What does it do? What does the spray do?
So what you do is you spray it on any sort of soreness in your body, and it's got a cooling heat, so it cools the area, and then it's got a oil in it that actually then heats the area. Yeah. So first you spray it on, and it's like, ooh, and it feels like ice has been put on it. Yeah. You know how you get that burning sensation of ice? Yeah. So it feels like that straight away, pretty much within about 2 to 3 seconds. Yeah. And we've got a shop online now for anyone out there who would like to buy some.
What is it? What's the shop called?
It's Plug called, away. Go to playonproducts.com. Playonproducts.com. Yeah. So, and that's where you'll find it. And I've used it on NRL players, and I've used it on so many people, and they go, why haven't you done something with this? And because it was always me grandmas, it was always me mums and grandmas, and it's like, and then .com.au, so it's playonproducts.com.au. Backtrack. Buy it. So
you had the idea that like your grandmother, how did she make it? Just into a paste or something, or?
So it's a consistency. I can say what it's. So what's in it is what's on the bottle. So I suppose I can say.
Okay, so it's a liquid spray.
It's a liquid spray.
Oh, okay.
Alcohol based.
Okay, yep.
So
cool.
The alcohol goes onto the skin. Alcohol's cooling, and then the menthol actually opens up the pores of the skin. And then the other product goes within the skin and then warms the area. And then there's also a numbing.
And so what does it do?
So, like for instance, if you got hit in a tackle playing footy,
got yourself like a cork,
and it's like a cork. Yep. Spray it on, and you play on.
And what's it do? What stimulates
it basically activates and stimulates the area like ice. So pretty much, how they put ice on it. You don't need to put ice on. You just put that on, and straight away. Like the other day, I played OzTag, and my calves were really tight, and my shins started to tighten up. I sprayed it all over my calves and I played the whole game.
So it loosens your muscles.
It loosens the muscles.
Okay, so stimulates the.
If you've got a strain, spray it on the strain, freeze it up. Yep. If you've got like a bruise, you can spray it on the bruise. Oh, and we've got a product. It's the same product, but effectively called Dance On. Yeah. So Dance On.
Mate, I need some of that. I'm doing this bloody musical. Yeah. Right, and I'm not a dancer, and I'm doing 10 hours of dancing on a Sunday. Mate, this stuff. I'm that stiff. I'm that sore.
I'm telling you, you spray it on. You dance.
Even my legs now are stiff.
Spray on, and you'll dance on.
Well, you thought you would have brought some with you, mate. Plug this
I do have some in the car, but
I was that's right, because you parked all the way over there, and the car park's just here.
There it is. There's the bottle. Can you put the bottle right there for me? Here, actually, we're going to give you a dummy bottle because you can do this, and he's going to put the label on the front of that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Hang on, I need to hold it still.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Love it. Okay. So, how are you promoting it?
At the moment, we've just started a Shopify. Is it Shopify? We've created a Shopify site.
Yeah.
And that's where we're selling it there, and we're going to be going to like sporting events and things like that, and to all dance studios and things
cool.
like that. And we've also got a roll-on, play-on, so we're going to have a roller as well.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about it is you don't have to rub it in.
Yeah.
You don't have to rub it in. You just put it on. Works.
Yeah. Because the alcohol dries it up.
The alcohol? No. It's just, you know how you normally have to rub an oil or rub deep heat in. You don't need to do that with this. The alcohol it sort of purifies the skin. The menthol opens the pores of the skin, and then the cinnamon goes in and then warms the area. Yeah, that's really cool. So,
well,
it doesn't cure anything. It's not, I'm not making any claims. There's no claims with it to say that it's going to cure anything, although it does have all these.
It's a short-term relief.
Basically, it's yes, we can use that word, relief. It's a relief.
Yeah, cool.
You have to be very careful with what you say, and
don't worry, we can edit everything. Yeah. It's a cure for...
sent by Jesus.
No, that's like
Jesus. Come from the fountain of youth, which has been found...
it's actually my jizz in a bottle. Sorry, I just gave you work to do.
We got
one of the skits we want to do is Johnny's jizz. It's funny. But anyway.
So, what's the plans for the future? You got a new film coming out that you're going to be releasing?
So I've got... so I've got a
because
book.
I saw the trailer of it.
So you mean Johnny's Dream?
Yeah.
That's about to. I'm hoping that'll go into production next year.
Yep.
Raw will be finished in November.
Yeah.
Spray on, play on, spray on, dance on. It will be out. Is out now actually. It's ready to go. So go to my Shopify site.
Yep.
Again, let's make the plug. playonproducts.com.au. And I've also my book. I'm hoping my book will be out, which is Junk Food Dad Organic Mum, will be out next year as well.
And the book's about
It's about the mind. So my son's mother is organic, very organic driven, and I'm okay with the occasional junk food. But I'm the worst enemy. I'm the worst person in the world because he eats junk food. And I'm like, she's always sick. I'm never sick. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think it's the food that, I'm not saying it's, I think it's the mindsets, right? It's how fixated and driven, and I want to basically, the book's going to be about, I'm interviewing diggers. So talking about, people who are 90, 100, and speak to them about how did you get to here? So there's going to be an interview of them in there, talking about, I want to, access a few well-known people if I can. If there's any well-known people out there, I'd like to just talk to you about what you eat and what's got you to where you are, and what drives you with food. And then there's going to be a bit of, for instance, Italians longevity, Chinese longevity, Australians, longevity, all different cultures and how long they're living now, and and
but we are living longer.
We are living longer, but there are cultures that have lived, like the Incas. They lived up to a lot of them lived to like over 90 to 120 years of age. This was way back. You know what I mean? And there are tribes within the Malaysian jungle that they say, this might be crazy, but they're over 200 years old. Okay.
I met a Chinese uncle who was 110 years old.
There you go. So when you go into Malaysian
it's that
jungle,
herbal tea. It's good for you.
So there are cultures out there. There are people that yes, in like around England and things like, I think back in the day they lived to about 40 and 50. They didn't get over those ages, but there are Do
you think? Look. We've got to put in a lot of factors into play. Is the amount of pollution that's in the air is a massive impact of what we're breathing going into our not
necessarily, because I don't know, but it's mostly carbon, and carbon generally grows plants a lot faster. Make sure we Google that.
Carbon. Well, there's a lot of carbon dioxide. We shouldn't be taking in carbon. We're taking a lot of carbon dioxide.
Not overly, but we are adapting to it because we do we can adapt.
We can take in carbon dioxide and stuff. I don't know if it's carbon monoxide.
So I'm basing this statement upon myself and my body.
Yep.
Growing up in Tasmania.
Oh, totally.
Right. I very rarely I've never had an asthma attack in Tasmania. Never. 25 years I lived in Tasmania.
Yep.
23. Sorry, lived in Tasmania. Never had an asthma attack. I've been hospitalised 3 times.
Wow.
Now living in Sydney, and I know it for the simple fact the amount of pollution that's in the air is affecting my immune system.
That's in Sydney?
Yep.
You need to go to a place like Hong Kong or something
like that.
He won't leave the country.
He's dead. 100%. And even my mentor, he lives in Tasmania now. He used to live in Sydney, and he says to me, he said, every time he comes here he stays here for a month, 2, he's always starts to become sick because he's been living in Tassie for quite a while now. And
so you have the power of your mind.
Yeah.
So you can turn that off right now.
Well, 100%. But at the same, I do, and I'll tell you something. I do have the power of my mind, but I don't allow that to be like, I live in Sydney, my lungs. But you see, I was really sick last year, and I went to this Chinese medicine doctor, and he was telling me that your liver's not right, your kidneys aren't right, your pulse is really low, and I was like, yeah, I'm running out of energy fast.
Yeah.
And I have an exponential amount of energy. Anybody out there that knows Prema knows I have an exponential amount of energy.
Yeah.
And
do people say what drugs are you on?
Yeah, 100%. Just like, what are you fucking taking, mate?
Yeah, you fucking must be on something.
Yeah. Mate, I'm taking dietary supplements.
I used to say to people, because I'm the same. I used to say to people, I'm just high on life, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Living in the present moment.
They don't fucking get it.
Yeah,
I'm just high on life.
But that's what this show is all about too. We live right now. We embrace everything right now. It may be something unfortunate, but that's what it is. Anyway, back to this story. I was seeing this Chinese medicine guy, and I was just feeling myself getting sicker and sicker and sicker. One day I was at work, and because I always try to not have my asthma puffers. This is the controller, and I just couldn't breathe. And I went nearly a whole night. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get any air in. And I said to Dad, I've taken about 50 times my asthma puffer. They're not working. Like my pink one, my red one, my brown one, and my blue one. I've never taken I've never in my life taken all 4. I just happened to collect quite a few over the years. And they just weren't working. And I rang Dad that morning. I said, Dad, I fucking think I'm going to die. And he's like, mate, get to the doctor straight away. And I went to work, and I was like on the way to work. I was like, fuck, no, I'm going to turn back, go to the doctor. Went to the doctor. My oxygen count was sitting at 88. And and the doctor put me straight on a on a oxygen thing, gave me a couple of drugs, and then jumped in the taxi, and they took me to the hospital, and I spent 8 hours in the hospital. And I'm massive about putting natural products into my body. This body has to be the mind has to be super strong.
If you believe that, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
That's all I say.
Yeah, no, but I believe that. But it got to the point where I was that sick because I was truly believing in the products that I was taking from this Chinese doctor. But science over prevailed. Back to the book, back to you. Your weakness can become your strength, and it's what you want to do with it. You've obviously been able to say, no, this is not where I am. This is not what I want to do. I'm going to do something about getting myself out of this. I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to look at my demon in the eye, and I'm going to be like, I am responsible for my life. Yeah, I am. At the end of the day, I make the choices. I make a choice of what I think, and then how I'm going to act upon what I think, and that's why you're where you are now. Yeah. So yeah, very commendable. Ladies and gentlemen,
you need to turn your phone off.
I do this all the
every
time.
Single time.
Oh, sorry.
I always have a go at him as well.
Sorry guys.
He's always on his phone too, isn't he?
No.
He's always on his phone.
No. Look, we're going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Tonight we've just really want to say thank you for coming on.
No
I've had
worries.
such a great time. It's been absolutely amazing. Like, honestly, probably one of the best podcasts that I've had. We've done so far. Johnny, you're so natural. Thank you for sharing all of you. You know, this show, guys, is all about just real people coming here, talking about real things, and you know, and it's a pleasure when people come on here and just give themselves to us.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, we want to share the story, we want to share the love, we want to know what your why is, and you've given us so much tonight, mate. It's been absolute pleasure. Christian, thank you so much, mate, for doing what you're doing behind set. You've got your lovely partner back there and being very supportive. Thank you. Always a pleasure to work with you, Alex, and it's great to be doing what we do best, just being us and doing it organically and authentically. Boys and girls, we love you. Don't forget to tweet us, email us at freshprinceoftasmania@gmail.com. If you want to come onto the show, we'd love to have you on here. Like our Instagram, like our Facebooks, leave our comments. And if you want some topics that we want us to talk about, don't hesitate to write them in. Actually, I wanted to just quickly just shout out. We got an email 2 days ago on Fresh Prince of Tasmania to a girl named Lisa Burns. Thank you for reaching out. She sent us a lovely email saying, "Hey, really congratulations on the show. It's great to see you guys making shit happen." So thank you, Lisa. Thank you for Lisa, and brother, thank you so much for coming tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I love you. Alex love you. We love you. Peace out, guys. Thank you.